Hope you're all well. Hope you all had a good Thanksgiving. Tonight, for our monthly webinar, we're going to be talking about refer a friend best practices. So I'm gonna go over some of the basics first of how to go about referring your friends, how to get your code, and the step-by-step process of that. And then we have with us tonight Catherine Lake, who is a CIEE alum. She's now in college at McGill University, and still is referring people. And we're gonna hear about her amazing experience. Actually, I was looking at the referrals today. I was checking on our global ambassadors referral numbers, and then I
Yes.
see somebody with over 200, and I'm like, okay, of course it's Catherine.
Sorry about that one.
So Catherine last year got $6,000 in referrals and then did something amazing with it that she'll talk to you guys about. But first I'm just gonna go through kind of just the basic step-by-step of how to do the referral process. So, as you guys know, as I hope you know by now, everybody wins when you refer a friend. So when you refer a friend, when a friend opens an application with your referral code, your specific unique code that you have from your CIEE account, that student gets $200 discount on their tuition. But also, which can then be applied and combined with any scholarship that that student gets, right? So that doesn't disqualify anybody from a scholarship. If they travel, once they travel, you will also get $200. Okay, so for every friend that you refer that goes on program and ends up traveling with CIEE, you get $200 in the end. It will be about a year later after they travel, right after they get back, but you will get that payout. This discount only applies to new applications, meaning that if your friend is already halfway through their application or already opened their application and then found out that you have a referral code for a $200 discount, you cannot retroactively apply that. They need to open the application with your code. So, I mean, worst case scenario, if that did happen, they could start a new application with a new email, right? But it only applies to new applications, okay? So, how do you get your unique referral link? The first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna log into your my.ciee.org account. So you're gonna log in here, step 1, returning user with your email and your password. And then step 2, you're gonna pick the program type that you wanna refer your friend to. So you can refer your friend to any CIEE program, okay? Most typical, I would say, you guys as high school students with high school peers who like to go do the summer abroad is gonna be that first option, right? High school summer abroad. But if you have a friend who's interested in doing a semester abroad or gap year abroad, or first year abroad, that isn't even on this list because it's something that's so new to CIEE, where students can do their first year of college abroad. You can refer to any of those programs, right? But for most of you, the most common will be the high school summer abroad. So once you pick that program, you'll see this little note like this, right? Refer now with information, and you're gonna click get my unique referral link, okay? And that is your code for these rewards, right? That is your code that is going to give the discount to your friends and give you the money to pay out when they travel. Okay, so it's going to be, as you can see here, your unique referral link. We know links usually become long, ugly things with lots of numbers and letters that nobody can remember. You can create a vanity link right in there, okay, with your name, with something that is easy to remember. You could then take your link and turn it into a QR code. Super easy, right? Have this QR code on posters around your school. Have post it on social media. right? Get this QR code out there, super easy way to make it so people don't have to type in any link, right? Or create a tiny URL that you can then add to your bio, you can add to your email signatures, right? So that has been something that has been really helpful, taking that long, ugly link that nobody is going to be able to type or remember and turning it into something easy and accessible, either with a vanity link, a vanity name, a QR code, or a tiny URL. Once you start referring your friends, you will see all of the referrals that you have in a status referral dashboard. Okay, so once you start referring friends, if Catherine logs in right now, she's going to see the status of over 200 applications, right? The name, the email, and their application status, right? Oh, sorry. New if they've submitted, right? You can tell. Tomorrow is our early bird deadline, right? So for our early bird fly free contest. So if you log in tonight, if you've already done some referrals and see that your friends haven't submitted yet, say, hey, get it in by midnight, get it in. Tomorrow's the deadline for the early bird fly free. All right, check up on people, see if they are, moving along with their application, what's going on. So, earn money, top referrers. Some of our top referrers we have here, these are old because, as I said, Catherine last year got $6,000, right? So this $1,000 is nothing. 1,400, nothing, right? So potential earnings, it's going to show what you could get, right? Rewards earned, that is when the students travel, right? When they are confirmed and we know that you're going to get that money, okay? So I'm going to put you guys, or actually we don't even need to go into breakout rooms because I think there's only a handful of us, but any ideas that we can talk about here? Any ideas of, wait, how many of us are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I think we can just talk in here. Any ideas for how you could share your referral code or how you've done so already? You can type in chat or Anna.
You could like put it on your Instagram story or like in your highlights.
Yeah, very good. Utilize social media, right? Your Instagram and your TikTok. Any other ideas? Anything else that you guys have done? I linked it to my bio and all of my socials. Good. Yes. Anna.
I know I had some friends from like the Upper East Side who their school like I don't know, their school is sponsored by CIEE or something. So a lot of the kids are asked to speak up during classes or presentations or something. But I was thinking of doing like going to a few of the study halls of kids that I know would be interested, and then like having flyers in there or talking about it there, and then passing out flyers.
Yeah, amazing idea. You should definitely do that and put that code on there, right? So any flyer that somebody has, have that code right in the corner. So that somebody always has it on hand. Or even I visited a school in Virginia last month, and they have a Global Navigator Club of CIEE alumni, and they had their flyers, but then they also just had jumbo QR codes that they just left on the boards for the teachers to have in the foreign language classes, right? Any other ideas? Okay, so I'm gonna pass it over to Catherine now. I'm gonna stop sharing so you can share, Catherine. I'm gonna pass it over to Catherine, and Catherine is gonna tell us a little bit about what she's done and give us some tips and some ideas.
Yeah, that sounds great. Hello, good evening or afternoon or morning, depending on where you are. My name is Catherine. Again, I'm a second year now student at McGill University. I went with CIEE to Barcelona in the summer of 2021, so feeling a bit old. But I'm very much here to help you out and share some of the tips and tricks I've used with referrals and more broadly, the power of the referral code experience. So I've got a presentation here for you all. Barring technical difficulties, you should be able to see my screen, correct?
Awesome.
Wonderful. I was hoping to actually move it. I'll just move my webcam so it doesn't look like I'm looking into the corner. Promise I'm looking at you all. It's got multiple screens here. Okay, perfect. Great. So I kind of introduced myself already, so I'll skip that first part here, but I suppose for context as well, for high school, I went to Stuyvesant in New York City. So for those of you in New York City on this call, so great to see you. Traveled to Barcelona, and after I traveled, I really felt like there was a lot more ways I could be a part of the CIEE community, and they had given so much to me, as I'm sure you all feel through your experiences, and I was really hoping to find some way to try and give back. And I wasn't sure how to do that at first. And then eventually it led me to found this program now in Stuyvesant called STY at CIEE. And what we do is we help by running application support sessions, fundraising events, referral code distribution systems, newsletter distribution, and a lot of other different basically ways of encouraging students to travel, especially students who might not think that they ever could travel due to financial or other reasons. So these fundraising events and referral code distribution systems, you can use them as well to, personally make money. It's a great side hustle, or you could use them for more organizational purpose. Both are completely great ways, and I'm here to kind of break them down for you a little bit. So first of all, referral codes, in my opinion, offer a lot more than just money. You can see here in the top left of my screen what my earnings portal used to look like. Now it's a little bit different. But you can see all of these different ways that we, have different touch points with the schools, right? So we've got the earnings portal, but then we also have all those posters with application support sessions and info sessions. We have a whole Facebook page. So students who are looking to travel, but are scared to travel, not really sure, any questions they might want to ask, it's all ingrained in that, Facebook page. And I think what referral codes do is they actually bring that community together. Because as was mentioned earlier, when you actually use a referral code, you get the emails of everyone who uses that code. So you immediately can make your own community based on those names and emails. You can send them updates, send them flyers, invite them to Facebook groups or other platforms that you might use at your schools more, and just really foster a sense of, opportunity and community before they even travel. And that's a huge value add, I would say. A couple of other points as well. They're often the first incentive towards opening an application. I know if someone told me, hey, you want $200 off immediately just by scanning a QR code for a 1 month, massive trip somewhere, I would be scanning it without you finishing the sentence, right? So that's a really important piece of the puzzle for a lot of people. It can also be, just that $200 can make a big difference in families saying yes to you traveling. And even though it brings together students before you travel, like how I was saying, it also helps you stay in touch after, because these students are putting emails that are usually not their school emails. And you can always, create that lovely little school community after, or neighborhood community. It doesn't just have to be your school, which I know, especially in some areas where there aren't as many travelers, that can really go a long way. So you have the power to have a huge impact. And of course, I have a meme here because I'm loving memes. We need you to spread your referral codes. Now, next, I think I can definitely speak at you a lot about what they do and why they're useful, but I think the real value comes from just seeing the impact they have. So feel free to take a second or two to read over some of my favorite moments. And I'd say what these moments really illustrate is, especially, as an ambassador or just more broadly within CIEE, someone who's an alumni, helping cannot always be, an easy road. Maybe you reach out to a friend and they say, oh yeah, I apply. And then they change their mind. And it can be pretty disheartening because you really thought they'd love the trip. Or other times you might, be running an information session like we did at the beginning, and we only had 2-3 people show up. And it can feel really demotivating because you're really trying to help, or you're trying to, hustle on the side, or whatever your goal is. And I think it's really hard to feel the impact of what you're doing until the end stretch. And I'd say this is probably the reason why I still keep working as hard on CIEE, me personally, seeing these messages of just pure joy and realization that, hey, this is actually possible now. And it really does start with this code. So how exactly can you use it? First of all, you've got a completed program. So congratulations, you've already done that. Second thing that I recommend as well is sitting back and reflecting. You know, I've thrown a lot of ideas out here at you as to, you know, what you can use it for, a community, for a side hustle. There's a lot of different inputs you have now. So it's important to take the time to step back and think, well, hey, what do I want to use this code for? Am I trying to fund another trip? Am I trying to just make a little bit of extra, you know, money to do something nice? Or am I trying to give it back to other people? More on that very soon. Reflecting is really, really important because that'll help guide your next steps. On that note, building a team is an optional step, but for me, it was an awesome one. You know, CIEE has a lot of moving pieces and they all operate in New York, and there's a lot going on. I certainly couldn't run it myself, nor could I come up with all the ideas myself or bring all the enthusiasm needed to make it happen myself. So in our case, it was a great plan to build a team. For you, you might go flying solo, and that's great as well, but it's a great step to think about. And the last and probably most important step is just to go for it. You will have already started going for it simply by being on this call. I didn't go to any of these calls. You were already far ahead of me when I was at your stage. So once you have any ideas, they don't have to be fully formed, but once you start having ideas, just see what happens. Make that first flyer on Canva. I highly recommend Canva. Or just tell your teacher, send one of them an email and say, hey, I have this thought. The hardest thing is actually converting ideation into implementation. And if you can just have the confidence to just give it a go, that's incredible. So that would be my biggest advice there. So tangible impact, just again, to really hammer home that you can make a lot of impact with this. Last year, we earned 6,000 in referrals. And I say we because in my case, what we ended up doing with it and what we set out to do with the codes was every dollar that we raised through this referral code system, all of it is being given back to scholarships to students who are traveling in my school. So all of that 6,000, you see it, we have a lot of different names of scholarships like Phoenix Scholarship, Trailblazer Scholarship, all of these, and we're giving it back to help students take that step to study abroad. Because as you all know, like, especially when you get there, you know, there's a lot of things to buy there and you start spending money on food and then there are flights, but then there's this show happening next week. And before you know it, the trip itself becomes a lot more expensive than you're envisioning. So we're trying to help students cover those little costs with this referral code system. So we did that. We had over 50 students travel from my high school, which I believe is a record. But it's still really awesome to see that number. But don't be discouraged if it's not 50. If it's one, you've done an incredible job. It's probably the most important thing on this slide. And our alumni communities, I think well over 150 now, actually, that number's not been refreshed since, but we've really started to build, you know, the CIEE community beyond just that 1 month or 3 week program. And that's meant a lot to all of us as we go into university and navigate internship recruiting even. We just have people across the world who we can contact and just stay in touch with. And it's just simply the best feeling. So that's it from me. Feel free to ask me any questions. I'm really excited to hear what you all might have to say. And I wish you all the best of luck with whatever's to come. Oh, I can't see if there are questions. So maybe I should put feel free to raise your hand if you have any questions, or feel free to type it in the chat as well. It can be about anything, you know, the referral code system. Yeah, go ahead, Kirsten.
Yeah, I have just one question. So I've been able to give like presentations to classes. Like I've asked permission from my teachers and I've given presentations in classes, just to certain classes in my high school. But when I first got back to California from traveling with CIEE, I asked one of the administrators at my school if I could give a presentation to the whole high school students, and they said no because it wasn't a sponsored event. So do you know if there's any way I could navigate that? Because I want to make this information known to the whole high school and not just a few classes.
I think you might need to unmute if you're answering, by the way, Brianna.
Yes, thank you. Kirsten, remind me, are you in Northern California or Southern California?
I'm in Southern California.
Okay, awesome. So Dan is your global education ambassador, your GEA. Dan is amazing. I'm gonna drop you Dan's email right here. One of my besties at CIEE. This is being recorded. Oops. And he is your GEA. I would reach out to him and see if maybe him talking to your administration or somebody from his team would make it so that they would allow for auditorium presentation if it's the company coming in.
I'd say in addition to that as well is feel free to get a little bit creative here. Your school might not be saying it's possible, but what about a community presentation? What about a fundraising event, maybe in an external venue, a restaurant or something where you invite families to come and learn about this? You can think about it beyond your school too. So don't let that singular defeat knock you down. Keep your head up and keep trying as best you can, being obviously cognizant of, different barriers in the process.
Yeah, if you could like create events for like Catherine is saying, an outside event, and then create posters, and if you would be allowed to post those around your school, right? And then you could even already have your referral code on those posters as well, and that could be helpful.
Oh yes, I forgot to really highlight this, but if you look on this slide, you can see the newsletter here that we do. So we release a newsletter with travelers, and that's also a great way to start, sharing the news to people, is highlighting your own experience on something like this and then including the code, because then it gets people invested before they even show up because they see all the fun things you're doing. So something else I might suggest as well.
Do you know how I can subscribe to the newsletter?
To this one?
Yes.
Happy to subscribe you. It's usually distributed just in Stuyvesant, but anyone is welcome to have it. I'm also always looking to, actually this year more than ever, if there are any schools that want to start something like what we're doing, or even just facets of it, you're more than welcome to contact me or anyone in the school who's working on it directly. We'll give you all the resources, all the templates, everything you need to hit the ground running here. So please do reach out. You'll get a lot more than just a subscription if you want it.
Oh, that's interesting. I'm a part of the podcasting club at my school, and my teacher, like the teacher who's the supervisor of the podcasting club, is very interested in getting students involved more with like multimedia opportunities. So do you think there's any way I could get more details on this?
Absolutely, for sure. If you're interested in this specific thing, I can like drop my email if that's allowed in the chat, and you can just reach out to me. And yeah, I can even put you in touch with the person who made this newsletter. I think she's at like Cornell now or something. She'd be happy to chat. So yeah, of course, we're always a resource here to help however we can.
Thank you.
Awesome. So I was gonna follow up with that, but those other two follow-ups that I had have been kind of addressed already. Remember that you can present on your own in your school, whether in class or in the auditorium, or like Catherine said, that's an amazing idea, stuff outside of school, right? Maybe some schools, maybe you're at a school that has high CIEE representation, but you know that there are other schools in your area that there are no alumni, right? Doing something after school, doing a community event would allow people from those other schools to also attend. Yes, Anna.
All right, this is like a two-part question. Firstly, how would the students, when they apply with our referral link, would they get that money once they got accepted into the program, and like could it be used towards the deposit thing if they're getting a scholarship, could it be used towards a deposit?
I think it would just be $200 removed from their total tuition cost.
Yes, that's how it works for them. And then for you, if you're receiving money, that happens after the program ends. But yeah,
like, what if they got like a full, like their entire tuition
they get paid
covered by the
$200,
school?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, and is that once they get to their destination, and is it like in cash or is that direct deposit?
If I remember correctly, from my friend who traveled in 2021, this happened to her. I think she had the full ride and then she traveled and then after got that 200, similar to how referral code user receive it. I could be incorrect there. Verena, if you can verify that, but that's just what I remember.
I'm not sure. I can look into that. I don't know the answer to that, but I would trust Catherine's experience. Yeah, and usually it's not, usually it's like a Visa gift card.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right, perfect. Thank you.
no problem.
Any other questions from anyone or thoughts? Do not be shy. Someone has already said application. No, unfortunately not. But if you wish, you can always tell them to, if they want to start a new account, then use the 200, then you can. We had that situation happen last year. We got quite worried because we were trying to reach a lot of people and then some of them missed that. And a few of them were able to take the time to set up another account. It doesn't work for everyone, but for those who are willing to put in a little bit of extra time to make it happen, that's how it can be done.
Yeah, create a new email address or use a different email address and start a new application from scratch with that link.
Yeah. Kirsten, do you have another question, or is this the hand from before, perhaps? Aha, I thought so. Very nice. But if you have another question, feel free to raise it again.
Any other questions? Remember, really put it on all of your social media. Just get it out there. That's the thing. Get it out there as much as you can. Any informational document that you make and put out there, get your QR code on there. Yes, Anna.
Okay, so the win a free flight thing that's like over tomorrow, right? Is
Over
there any
tomorrow.
other way to cover the cost of the flight, or was that the only opportunity?
Yeah, the cost of the flight is on the family, so unfortunately the contest ends tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
The other way would be through fundraising, right?
Yeah.
If students do some sort of fundraising, and we do have a fundraising toolkit that you can, let me find it here. And I think we're gonna do a fundraising webinar probably in January or February. But yeah, fundraising would be the next option.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd also say there's other ways to strategize as well. Like the earlier you book your flight or the earlier you figure out all of those details, the cheaper your flight will be. So at least some of what helped for Stuyvesant travelers was we had like a pre-flight checklist and a pack list ready for them immediately upon acceptance. So they were able to quickly see, okay, what are the costs going to look like? How can I just be efficient about this? And even efficiency of a week or two on flights can save hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
Especially for the really long haul ones. Of course, there's still the rest of the cost, but just something to keep in mind as well. It's not just about like the upfront cost, it's about being a little bit strategic.
Okay. Good to know. Thank you.
No worries. Any other questions or comments?
No. Kristen.
Hello.
Yeah, so I have a question. It's not really related to the fundraising or the application QR code thing. It's more of a question for you, just because like I know you were talking about how after studying with CIEE, you looked for ways to get more involved with CIEE and promote the program to other students and all that. So I'm wondering, because I know CIEE has like a blog and a podcast and a lot of those kind of things that are part of their company and their marketing and their brand. So I'm wondering, is there any way that alumni or students who are interested in global education in general can get involved with CIEE as a company other than studying abroad and promoting their programs? Like other than the QR code and actually studying with them?
Yeah, so remember, I'm remembering you, Kirsten. I've not forgotten you from our conversation last month, and remember that internship opportunity that we talked about. We're still working on that, so that should probably be announced in January. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Because I think you are an excellent candidate. And the podcast, and I know you're also super interested in coming onto the podcast as well. I'm sorry I haven't followed up on that yet. I have the interest list. We just haven't, we recorded our first batch at the beginning of September. And then now I'm starting to look into recording the second batch. So I'll be reaching out to any of you who filled out that podcast interest survey as well.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd say, at least from my perspective, I wasn't a CIEE ambassador, or, didn't have any of that like formal structured involvement, but there are still so many different ways you can engage, right? And even if it doesn't feel, again, like our work is just in Stuyvesant, like realistically, it's like a small drop in the bucket, but everything that you do to spread the word, even if it doesn't end up sending anyone abroad, just every little bit that you're able to achieve, that also means equally as much as some of the like bigger, more structured things. So just remember, like, there's so much impact that you can have in so many different ways. So just get creative about it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Anything else? Oh,
No, I think that was just person putting her hand down.
okay.
I thought the same thing.
I was like, oh, it looked like Andrew's hand was up. I was like, oh, how exciting.
Okay, awesome. So if there's no more questions, we won't take more of your time. Thank you guys for joining us. I hope this was helpful. Reach out if you ever need anything. You also have, here's my email as well. Some of you have it already, some of you don't. So anything that you ever need, any questions, any more information, always reach out, and you have us here for support. And
Thank you so much,
and have a
everyone. It was
night.
great to meet you.
It was nice to meet you too. Thank you. Good night.
Have a good evening. Awesome.